Look at the horizon of ancient Egypt, right at dawn. The morning light hits the mist rolling off the water, silhouetting a landscape designed to overwhelm the senses. These structures were engineered to dwarf the human scale. These columns are more than just support for a roof. They are a physical projection of authority, designed to make anyone standing among them feel small and replaceable. Maintaining this skyline requires an endless supply of human labor. For the Hebrew people, the empire is not a source of pride, but a system of enslavement that demands they build and maintain these monuments until they can no longer stand. Against stones this massive, the individual is eclipsed. The state builds for eternity. The lives of those doing the building are treated as disposable resources. Beyond the stone, the empire depends entirely on the Nile. It is the singular source of life and agriculture in a desert landscape. But the pharaoh has issued a decree to control the growing Hebrew population. He has commanded that every newborn Hebrew boy be taken from his parents and cast into this river. The very water that feeds the civilization has been turned into a weapon of the state. If you are a Hebrew mother, the Nile is no longer a source of life. It's a grave. To save her son, Jochebed has to find a way to use the pharaoh's own instruments of Neuf as a sanctuary. Down on the muddy bank at dawn, Jochebed is preparing to do exactly that. To protect her infant from the soldiers searching the village, she has to let go. The only way to keep him out of the state's hands is to surrender him to the water. Her hands shake as she touches the basket. She is weeping silently, trying to stay hidden in the reeds. It takes an agonizing amount of trust to push a child away into an unpredictable current, hoping the river will carry him to safety rather than harm. This isn't an act of defeat. By placing him in the water on her own terms, she is actively defying the pharaoh's intent. Watching from a few yards away is the child's older sister, Miriam. At only 8 or 9 years old, she has been tasked with a life or death mission. She has to be the silent guardian, tracking the basket's progress through the reeds. She stays pressed against the trunk of a palm tree, terrified of being spotted by Egyptian patrols, but she refuses to look away. The empire speaks through loud public decrees and military force. The resistance is happening quietly, through the vigilance of a young girl hiding in the shadows. At the center of this desperate plan is a tiny object, a woven basket bobbing gently in the water. Jochebed used papyrus reeds gathered from the river itself. These plants were the backbone of Egyptian craft, known for being both lightweight and flexible. The secret to the basket's survival is the sealant. Coating the porous reeds in a thick layer of pitch creates an impermeable hull that repels the water. This combination ensures the interior stays dry and buoyant, creating a stable environment despite the current. This isn't just a basket. It's a vessel designed specifically to withstand the very element the pharaoh intended to be lethal. Eventually, the river takes hold of the basket and pulls it away from the bank. As the camera pulls back, the tiny basket is dwarfed by the massive silhouettes of the Egyptian temples looming in the background. Those stone statues were built to symbolize a power that would never move and never break. But they are blind to the fact that the child in this fragile basket will one day dismantle everything they stand for. The pharaoh's power rested in unmoving stone and massive monuments, but history was redirected by a much smaller force.